So this is your continuation part of your third chapter. So here we are going to deal with the register organization, MSP 430 CPU block diagram, its power modes and flexible clocking systems and its addressing modes. So coming to the register organization, you can see this is a diagram for your register organization. As I said you that the MSP 430 has total 16 registers, out of which the 4 registers are for special purpose, the remaining 12 registers are used for your general purpose. So you can see here the first, that is R0, is given for your PC, that is your program counter, and R1 is for your stack pointer, R2 is for your status register, and R3 is for your constant register. So you can see here the CPU is having 16-bit ALU operation, so arithmetic logic unit operation it carries. It has 4 working dedicated registers and it has 12 general purpose registers which is used for lower power applications. Now the addition of this 12 working general purpose registers will help you in saving CPU cycles, which will allow the storage of frequently used values instead of using variables of RAM. Okay, now this MSP 430 CPU, they includes arithmetic logic unit which will handle the operations such as addition, subtraction, comparison, and it also handles logical operations such as AND or XOR operations. It can also affect the overflow, zero, negative and carry flag which are present in your status register. So we'll see one by one. First, that is your R0 is given for your program counter. Now this program counter is of 16-bit which will help you, or it will store the address of the next instruction which has to be read from memory and executed by the CPU. Now this program counter is implemented based on the number of bytes which is used by the instructions. So that can be either 2, 4 or 6. Now it is very important to note that your PC is always aligned at your even addresses. Why? Because your instructions are 16 bits. Even though if your individual memory addresses contain 8-bit values, you have to assign this PC to the even addresses which is of 16-bit. Okay, next is R1 which is given for your stack pointer. Now this particular stack pointer is located in the register R1. Why do we use this stack? It is used in order to store the data for your later use. So you can store the data by push and you can retrieve or you can take back by the pop instruction. So this stack is used by the user or by the compiler in order for the subroutine parameters. What can be those subroutine parameters? Push and pop in your calling routine, that is done by your addressing which is used for the calculation on your stack pointer which is called subroutine. Okay, now stack can be used by subroutine calls to store the program counter value for return at subroutine ends. Now what does this mean is, whenever an interrupt is called, now suppose in R4 register the value is being stored, so in if during the execution, before the R4 execution is done, interrupt comes, then that particular value which is stored in the R4 will be stored in your PC. Then this goes that interrupt routine will make use of that status register, and then it comes back to the status register. The value which was stored in your program counter, again it will be stored in that particular status register. This is how stack is done by so whenever the routine subroutine call is called, the that particular value which is stored in the register will be stored in your PC. Then it goes to the subroutine call, it executes, again it return back. So when it return back, it will retrieve the value from your PC. So this is how your stack works. Now the next is R2, that is status register. You can see this is the status registers. So it is here we have C, it is for carry flag, zero flag, negative, GI CPU of oscillatory, SCG01, SCG, that is your system generator, and V, and this is reserved for your constant generator. Now this is a 16-bit register which is used for storing the state and control bits. Now these system flags, they are changed automatically with the help of CPU depending upon what is the result of operation in your register. So the reserved bit of SR, they are used for supporting your constant generators. So whenever if the operation is conducted and if the carry is generated, then this bit is set to high, and if there is a 0, then the result of that operation is 0, this particular bit is set high. Okay, so on it is applicable for all the bits. Next is your MSP 430 CPU block diagram. So you can see here there is M clock, that is your main clock, sub clock, and 0, carry, overflow, negative, right? There is a memory address bus and memory data bus. We'll see one by one. So there is one register, that is constant generator register, which is stored in your R2 and R3 in your status register. So depending upon the source register value, your 6 commonly constant generators are used without a code or code memory access to retrieve them. So this is very powerful feature which will help you for the implementation of immutated instructions. Example, now if you want any instructions to be set constant wise, so you can use this. Totally you will get 6 constants, so you can store these 6 constant values. So instead of retrieving and again storing, you can directly use this constant generator registers. Next is R4 to R15. So these are all your general purpose registers which are helpful in storing your data values, address pointers, or your index values. So they can be accessed with the help of your byte or word instructions. Next is your addressing modes. So I said you that your MSP 430 will support 7 addressing modes for your source operand and 4 addressing modes for your destination. So what are those? One is register mode, second is indexed mode, third is symbolic mode, fourth is absolute mode, fifth is indirect register mode, sixth is indirect auto increment mode, and the last one is immediate mode. So we'll see one by one. First is register mode. You know that register mode is nothing but, now this is a move instruction R4 comma R5. What happens over here is this R4 is your source and R5 is your destination. So whatever the values or the contents of the source register R4 from the source, it is directly moved to your destination, that is your R5. If R4 is having some value, say 50H, that particular 50H will be moved to your R5 and your R4 will not be affected. This is how a register mode operation is done. It's nothing but you are moving the contents of your source register to your destination register. Second is indexed register. Now this is in the formatted form, that is X of Rn, where your X is constant and your Rn is one of your CPU register. So the absolute memory location will be X plus Rn is addressed. Now how it can be done? So you can see here the instruction, that is move F000H R5 to R4. So this particular is your source and this value has to be moved to your R4, that is your destination. But how? Now this is the address. So in this address, whatever the value is given, that plus in R5 what is the value is present, that. So both the values you have to add and that particular value you have to store in your R4. So this is how indexed mode is being used. Next is symbolic mode. Now symbolic mode, it will allow you for the assignment of labels to the fixed memory locations so that those locations can be addressed. So this is very useful in your developing the embedded program. So this is the format, move XPT to YPT. Now whatever the content which are present at the source address of XPT, they are moved to the destination address of YPT. Next is absolute mode. This is same as your symbolic mode, but there is a difference that it is having a label before the preceding, that is given by ampersand. Now the word following the instruction contains the absolute address. Here X is stored in the next word. Indexed mode, X of SSR is used. Now move ampersand XPT comma ampersand YPT. Now the content source of XPT, it is moved to your the content source of your YPT. Next is indirect register mode. Now the data word address is located in your memory location. It is pointed by Rn. So this is not valued for your destination operand. So this also can be emulated with the help of your indexed mode format 0 of Rn. Now here Rn it is used as a pointer to the operand. Now you can see here move at the rate of R4 comma R5. Now here you should not take the value of the value which is present in this register. Instead this register whatever the address is having, in that address what is the value, that value you have to send it to your R5. This is what indirect register mode. So at is the memory. So at R4 what is the memory address, that memory address what you have to go and take that value and then store it in the R5. So this is indirect register mode. Indirect auto increment mode in the sense, now this is how the format is given, that is move at the rate R4 plus. So now at the rate R4 is nothing but it is your indirect register mode, plus is used for your auto increment. Now what happens here, now here also the same thing. Now whatever the value, at means memory address at your R4. So at R4, in the R4 register, what is that particular memory address? So that particular memory address you have to go, in that memory address whatever the value is there, that value plus, if it is byte then you have to increment that particular value by 1. If it is word then you have to increment by 2, and whenever incremented value you have to substitute in your R5. So this is indirect auto increment mode. Next is immediate. Immediate is used to just assign your constant values to your registers or your memory location. So now you can see that E2 is directly assigned to your R5. This is immediate mode. Next is flexible clocking system. So I said you that MSP 430 has flexible clocking system in order to enable and disable various clocks, and it also has oscillators which is used to enter various low power modes. Fine. Why do we are using? In order to provide a low power consumption. So we have basically 3 clocks. One is main clock. Main clock CPU source which is driven by your internal digital controlled oscillator which is up to 25 megahertz. Auxiliary clock is used for your individual source module which is driven by the internal low power oscillator, or it can be external crystal. And sub main clock, it is a faster individual peripheral module which can be driven by your internal DCO up to 25 megahertz. So most of the time sub main clock is being used. Next is low power modes. They will tell you how much is the ability of power consumption of microcontroller can be used. Now if you are shutting off the parts of your MSP40, then how much your embedded microcontroller is using the power supply. So the CPU and several other modules of clocks are always needed. So how this is done? Okay, so each subsequent LMP, that is your low power mode in the MSP 430, turns off more and more modules or parts of the microcontroller, CPU, clocks, etc. You can see now what are those low power modes. One is active mode. Active mode, here nothing is turned off. If nothing is turned off means here the power saving is also not done, because all are working at a time, right? Low power modes, why do we use? We use so that only the required peripherals are used at a time, right? But when it is active mode everything is working, so because of that there is no power saving. Now LPM, that is low power mode 0, where your CPU and main clock are disabled while your sub main clock and auxiliary clock remain active. LPM1, where your CPU and M clock are disabled and your DCO, that is digitally controlled oscillator, and DC generator are disabled. If this DCO is not used for SM clock, then your auxiliary clock will be active. Coming to the next, that is LPM2, where your CPU, main clock, sub main clock, DCO are enabled, whereas your DC generator remains enabled and your A clock is also active. LPM3, here you can see that your CPU, main clock, SM clock, DCO, they are disabled. DC generator is also disabled, but still your auxiliary clock is active. The last is LPM4, where your CPU is disabled, your auxiliary clock is disabled, but your M clock, that is main clock and sub main clock, are also disabled. DCOs, generators disabled, crystal oscillator is stopped. So here almost all everything is been disabled. So thank you.